Now with these keema patties or puffs, you're gonna have another weapon in your arsenal for amazing appetizers. You already have the potato puffs, the mushroom, and paneer. This is just another great way to enjoy this Indian style puff pastry. And everything that's going to make this amazing filling with keema or minced chicken is just to add a ton of flavor. It's not going to be too spicy, too sweet, sour, anything. It's not going to be an extreme of anything. You're going to taste it, and it's going to be exploding with flavor. That's all. It all starts with ghee or clarified butter that goes in a pan that has been preheated. And once that's hot, add in ginger garlic paste, cumin seeds, and hot green chilies. Of course, you can adjust that to control the heat. Now, once that is fragrant and it smells really good, you add in the chicken because that's gonna go all in that mince. Start breaking that meat into smaller chunks and make sure to season it with salt before it completely cooks. Keep breaking it until it looks kind of like this, and then we're gonna add the rest of our spices and some chopped up onions. Now the spices include some turmeric, ground coriander, some red chili powder, and one of the key ones is ground fennel, which is gonna just pack it with so much fragrance and flavor. You wanna now start cooking it and sauteing it until those onions have softened, the spices have kind of colored the chicken completely, and the rawness from them has been cooked out, and it just smells warm, sweet, and spicy at the same time. Once you get there, add in your tomatoes, and we're gonna cook these until they've softened and broken down slightly. Keep salting at every stage and adjusting to your preferences. And once those tomatoes are ready, you want to finish it with garam masala. Mix that really well and then garnish with loads of freshly chopped cilantro. This mince here actually is so good that you can have it as part of a sandwich if you want, with bread, paratha, just with rice. And in this case, it's amazing in puff pastry in the form of patties. Now you want to let this cool down before you put them in the puff pastry. Pastry needs to be completely thawed in the refrigerator so that it's easy to roll it out. But in case you do get a bit impatient and it cracks a bit while you're forcing it to unroll, don't worry about it. Just pinch it slightly because as it bakes, those seals and seams will just blend together as the pastry puffs up. I'm going to cut this into squares. A pizza cutter works really well here actually. And then start adding a couple tablespoons on one half of each of those smaller square portions. Now keep the edges clean if you can, because we'll need that to actually seal the filling with the puff pastry. And there's no need to put extra pressure while you seal it, just a light tap until the edges meet. No need for water, no need for a fork to like kind of press it down really hard. I just prefer the way that the pastry puffs up and in some cases give you a peek inside the filling because it just feels more inviting than when it's completely sealed shut. Now you want to do this with all of your filling or until the puff pastry runs out. In my case, 3 rolls of standard puff pastry was perfect to finish all the filling, making about 12 of these rectangular portions. Now, while this step is completely optional, what I find has always worked well for me is chilling these stuffed puff pastries before you start baking them, because the heat from your hands will start to thaw and soften the puff pastry quite a bit. But just 10 to 15 minutes in the fridge and then it's ready to be brushed by an egg wash. It's just 1 egg with a teaspoon of water that's been whisked, and you want to lightly cover each of these portions with a thin layer of the egg wash. The egg wash really helps to give a nice golden brown finish on the top and is completely optional. Now transfer this tray in the oven, which has been heated in the convection setting at 400 Fahrenheit, and you're gonna bake it until the pastry has risen up really well. For me, that's about 22, 23 minutes. And these just look out of this world. I know I say that with every one of these puff pastry recipes, but it just blows my mind every single time. We're gonna let these cool down slightly. It just makes the pastry much more flaky, much more lighter, crispier once the steam that's probably built up inside has escaped and the pastry has cooled down. A wire rack will really help speed this along, make sure the bottom does not get soggy as the cool down process happens. And can you kind of see what I'm talking about with not sealing the edges completely? Like the way that it puffs up, you won't get this if you pinch it shut, because now those layers of the pastry, the butter layers and the flour layers that's in the pastry, you would have like kind of ruined it by pressing it really hard. And this just is so appealing the way it rises up and makes a wall of puff pastry. And I promise you, these will always be a hit. And I'll be very surprised if your non vegetarian friends don't absolutely fall in love with them. Let me know what you want to see next with puff pastry or anything else that you have in your mind. Let me know if you ever had anything like this before and if you've tried my other patty or puff recipes before. I'll link them all down below.